Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In this video we will discuss another concept of Power Component Framework, Power Apps Component Framework, right? In my previous video, if you have not watched the previous video where I have explained the PCF concept step by step, if you are a beginner in Power App Component Framework, then how you can proceed step by step in building PCF component. If you have not watched, please watch that, then you can understand properly this video, right? So this video will tell you about how to build a custom code component for a rich text box, not for a rich text box, a word counter for a, or character counter for a text box. For example, normally if you check any text area, you will see normally it looks like a simple text box, right? But if you want to implement like this, you see here in the comment box, so here you can write something, then there is a shadow here at the outside of the text area, and you can also see here the maximum limit is 500, remaining 473, right? So it counts the number of characters that you are entering in the box, right? And when you enter in the box, and if it exceeds 500 or it meets the 500 is reached, then it will show some, it will stop typing in the text box, right? So the most importantly, how this can be implemented to display a label with maximum character, and the remaining value should be decremented as per the value, as per the character that you are providing here. You see, now you cannot type anything now because the remaining is 0. So how you can display a label according to the value of the field, and this field is not a field of Dynamics 365 or Power Apps. This is a field of text area that is available in our PCF code, and whatever you provide value here, that also assigned to the comment field, and it saves in the dataverse, right? So let us understand how this label and rich text box can be integrated as a part of PCF component. So if you have not watched the fundamental steps of creating PCF, you can go to this video and watch that first, then come to this tutorial, right? So I have created a tutorial here. I have created a project, PCF project, and given the name as word counter namespace, and here I have given the description, something like word counter control counts maximum length of a field restricted to control type is standard always. This is the control manifest input XML file, right? Here I have taken two properties. One property is bound property, another is input property. Bound property is always bound to a field of Dynamics 365 form, right? As this is bound to the comment field. So this property is bound to the comment field, right? So one is bound field, so you cannot change the value. And here this is another property which is of type input. Input type means someone can provide a value to this property so that the Power App component or PCF will take this value and take action. I have declared here the default value 500, right? Word limit 500. This is the default value, but you can override this value, default value, or you can override the word limit of this property while calling the PCF from the field. Whenever you are calling that PCF against a field in form design, I'll tell you that. So then there you can override this value, but by default I have assigned 500 for the word limit. So this is the two property you have to define for this, nothing else here. Now I will go to index.ts. Index.ts is the TypeScript file which stores everything, right? Every Power App component framework is having the general skeleton, right? One is the class implements component framework, then we have a constructor, Then we have init function, init method, which initializes the component. So what is the init method? Init, whatever you write in the init method, that actually initialize your component. So initially, whenever the form will load, how your control or PCF control look like, that's it. So that happens in the init function. Then we have update view. Okay, whenever you want to update the PCF control look and feel, you have to use this update view method. Get output method is used whenever you want to send the PCF control data back to the source, and here our source is Dynamics 365 form field. Next we have a destroy. If you want to destroy or unmount the objects, you can use destroy. And I have created a onKey event here, onKey function, custom function to call it. Okay, so let us see how I have designed. So first I have taken 3 HTML elements. The first is container as a global variable. So you have to define these things as global variable. Container as HTML div element. Now it is always a best practice, or I always recommend you guys to learn TypeScript syntaxes, otherwise you cannot understand correctly. So go to W3 Schools and complete the TypeScripting, how the syntax is written. So here private container colon HTML div element means I am declaring a container variable of private type, whose type is HTML div element. This is the div element, right? Division in HTML. Like that, I have taken another variable for text area, another variable for label to display the text, what is the maximum character allowed and what is the remaining character allowed. Then I have taken a global private variable called as remaining count, which is number type. And next is private context. This is the context variable globally I have declared of type component framework context type. And the private notify output changed, which is void initial. So notify output changed is required whenever you want to update the view, update the PCF control, that something has been changed in the PCF control dataset, right? In the field or dataset. Now then constructor, I don't want constructor right now, but in the initialization method I need to initialize the component. So this set of code displays or shows a text box control, a text area control and label control. Let us see how it is designed. Now first this context, all the global variables that I have defined should be initialized here, like this dot context equal to the context that we are passing here in the init, container equal to container, notify changed equal to notify changed. So I have assigned global variables with the parameters that is passed in the init. Next I am trying to create a text area element. So this dot input text, the input text is a text area, right? You see here it is defined here. So I want to define a text area element. Next, with the container I want to append child this text area, right? So this is the text area, so that the text area will display here. Now I want to add some styles to this text area. What are the styles? Width 100%, border 1 pixel and box shadow is this. So you can see here the box shadow is showing something here. You see, this is because of this style attribute of the input text area. Next, this dot input text set attribute rows equal to 5. So initially when the form loads, it expands up to 5 rows. Okay, if you want to expand it, you can expand it by changing this value. Now it is 5 rows, right? 1 2 3 4 5, right? So maximum 5 rows it is displaying. Now what is the next properties? Next, what value you want to assign? Do you want to assign some value to this field? What is the value you want to assign? The value should be equal to the comment field context.parameters.comment field dot raw. What does it mean? It means that the value that is passed in this comment field property should be assigned to this field, input text area. If it is blank, then I want to assign blank text, a blank empty text, right? Next, this dot input add event listener. Why I am adding this event listener? Because I want to update this label whenever someone type some type some character and remove or release the key. So whenever release the key, it should be updated. That's why I'm calling an event of the input text key up event, and I have created a on key up event here, on key up, and here I am calculating the remaining count equal to context parameter dot word limit. Word limit is already available here. Passed is 500 or 600, whatever, that is from the front end, it is passed. The total word limit minus subtracted input text dot value length. That means total word limit minus total length of the input text. So now this value is assigned. Next, this value I need to use in the label text to display. So this dot label text dot inner HTML equal to maximum limit is the word limit row, then after space it will display remaining is remaining count. This is the variable that is assigned here, which is calculated by subtracting the maximum limit and subtracted from that the in total character count available in the text box, right? And next I have written a condition: if the remaining count equal to 0, this dot input text set attribute max length equal 500. That means if you are keep typing and the remaining count becomes 0, the maximum length of the rich text box, the text area will be 500. That means after 500 you cannot type anything, right? As you have already tested this. Okay. Now next, this dot notify output change. Why this notify output change is required? Because whenever you call this notify output change function, it will call the get output method, so that you can pass the updated value to the source. So what you need to pass in the source? Source field is the comment field, which is the bound field you see here. This is the comment field, and this is the bound field to the comment field or any text area field of your Dynamics 365 form field. Now you have to return command field equal to this dot input text dot value. So this way you can return the PCF control value to the bound field, so that it will assign to the Dynamics field from the PCF control. Now what is the next thing we have done? Update view. In the update view also we are doing the same thing. We are calculating the remaining count by subtracting the input text from the word limit and displaying the message in the label, right? So this is the simple thing, right? So init function to initialize the component, update view to update the PCF control with the values, and get output is used to return the PCF control values to the source bound field, and on key of event I have created. This is a user defined function I have created so that it will calculate the remaining count and notify output changed. Now once it is done, you have to upload the solution file in the Dynamics 365 or Power App solution. I have already displayed last time how you can upload solution using this video. Now once it is done, you have to go to the solution and bind this PCF component for the comment field. Let me show you that. Let me go to make.powerapps to show you how it is bound. It's because I want to bind this PCF control with the comment field. Let us understand how it is bound. You can go to development and go to Dataverse tables In this tutorial I will not tell you how it is uploaded, how the PCF is uploaded in Dynamics 365 server, right? You have to watch my old video so that you can understand. Now here I can go to the forms, because I have used account main form to use that PCF control. So I will open this account page, account form, main form, and most importantly I will open in classic mode, right? So click on the classic mode button. Sometimes the form load takes time, so click on switch to classic. And open the pop-up if it is blocking. Now it will open the classic mode form editor, where you can double click the field and you can attach the PCF control as per your choice. So this is the comment field, right? Double click this comment field, go to the control. This is already I have explained in my previous video how to attach. Go to control. Here you can see how I have associated. You see word counter control, and I have enabled web, phone and tablet. And here you see this is the first property which is bound to the comment field, and this is the word limit display key, which is defaulted as 500. If you want to edit the 500, you can edit here, so that maximum it will be taken as 2000. Click on OK and click OK. So this is how you can associate PCF controls, and it will act as per your need, right? So PCF is a best way to define to design your custom control as per your choice. You can extend it using React, Fluent UI, jQuery, Bootstrap, many things you can add as external file. So I will show you in next videos how you can create this. I will also show you another thing another thing in my next video. I will show you in the contact I have created a choice field, right? This is a choice field. You see how it is displayed, how this type of checkboxes can be radio buttons can be created using Fluent UI, right? You can also design this in PCF, right? I'll show you that in my next tutorial. Thank you guys. I will also upload this word counter control in PCF gallery so that you can download, and I will also share the code in GIT Hub so that you can download and practice. Thank you for your time, guys. I hope it will help you to design your own code. You practice yourself so that you can understand. But remember, init function is for initialization and update view is for updating the PCF control parameters. Get output is for sending the PCF control data to Dynamics bound data. And if you want to have any custom function, you can write down here, right? You can also use test harness. If you want to test your control in your test harness, you can just write the command npm start. Once you click on npm start, it will open the test harness window, which can be used to test the PCF control, right? So before uploading this solution, PCF solution in your Dataverse or in your Power Apps, you can test in your Visual Studio Code, so that it will open the test harness in a browser, and you can interact with your PCF control to test this. Now let us wait. It is opening the test harness for me. Now it is validating the manifest, validating the control, then it will start the browser and load my control. So it is trying to compile and building the control so that it will open in the browser. Now once it is done, you will see the control opens in the browser, and here you can paste your control. When you type, it is changing, the remaining value is changing, and also the value is assigned to the output value comment field, right? And this is the command field value, and this is the word limit. You can change it here. This is for testing purposes. That's why it is called as test harness, so that before uploading your controller in Dynamics, you can test it. To stop this testing, you can press Ctrl C and press Y to continue, right? Okay, thank you guys. So try this code in your PCF control in your form, and let me know in the comment. Thank you guys. Bye.